So the question is, please tell us a little about your brain. What's your IQ? Tested as 143. That would have been back when I was 12, 13. Not really sure exactly. I tend to interpret that as this is about as high as the IQ test measures, rather than you are 3 standard deviations above the mean. I've scored higher than that than other standardized tests. The largest I've ever actually seen written down was 99.999 percentile, but that was not really all that well standardized because I was taking the test and being scored as though for the grade above mine, and so it was being scored by grade rather than by age. So I don't know whether or not that means that people who didn't advance through grades tend to get the highest scores, and so I was competing well against people who were older than me, or if the really smart people all advanced farther through the grades, and so the proper competition doesn't really get sorted out. But in any case, that's the highest percentile I've seen written down. At what age did I learn calculus? Well, it would have been before 15, probably 13 would be my guess. I'll also state that I am just stunned at how poorly calculus is taught. Do I use cognitive enhancing drugs or brain fitness programs? No. That I've always been very reluctant to try tampering with the neurochemistry of my brain because I just don't seem to react to things typically. As a kid, I was given Ritalin and Prozac, and neither of those seemed to help at all, and the Prozac in particular seemed to blur everything out and distinctly so I get the impression, let's see, one of the questions over here is, are you neurotypical? And my sort of instinctive reaction to that is, ha! And for that reason, I'm reluctant to tamper with things. Similarly with the brain fitness programs, don't really know which of those work and which don't. I'm sort of waiting for other people in the less wrong community to experiment with that sort of thing and come back and tell the rest of us what works, and if there's any consensus between them, I might join the crowd. Why didn't you attend school? Well, I attended grade school, but when I got out of grade school, it was pretty clear that I just couldn't handle the system. I don't really know how else to put it. Part of that might have been that at the same time that I hit puberty, my brain just sort of, I don't really know how to describe it. Depression would be one word for it. Sort of spontaneous, massive will failure might be another way to put it. It's not that I was getting more pessimistic or anything, just that my will sort of failed and I couldn't get stuff done. Sort of a long process to drag myself out of that, and you could probably make a pretty good case that I'm still there. I just handle it a lot better. Not even really sure quite what I did right. As I said in an answer to a previous question, this is something I've been struggling with for a while, and part of having a poor grasp on something is that even when you do something right, you don't understand afterwards quite what it is that you did right. So tell us about your brain. I get the impression that it's got a different balance of abilities. Like, some neurons got allocated to different areas, other areas got shortchanged. What's the word for that? Shortchanged. Some areas got some extra neurons, other areas got shortchanged. The hypothesis has occurred to me lately that my writing is attracting other people with similar problems because of the extent to which one has noticed a sort of similar tendency to fall on the lines of very reflective, very analytic, and has mysterious trouble executing and getting things done and working at sustained regular output for long periods of time. among the people who like my stuff. On the whole, though, I don't know. I never actually got around to getting an MRI scan, and it's probably a good thing to do one of these days. But this is in Japan, where that sort of thing only costs $100. And getting it analyzed, if they're not just looking for some particular thing, but just sort of looking at it and saying like, what is this about your brain? I'd have to find someone to do that too. So I'm not neurotypical. Asking sort of what else can you tell me about your brain is sort of what else can you tell me about who you are apart from your thoughts, and that's a bit of a large question. I don't tend to try and whack on my brain because it doesn't seem to react typically, and I'm afraid of being in a sort of narrow local optimum with that, where anything I do is going to knock it off the tip of the local peak. Just because it works better than average, and so that's sort of what you would expect to find there, and that's it.